that fasting does increase growth hormone levels, and the way that it does it, tummy grumble, when your stomach growls, it is not because of fluid sifting around. Specifics about how long a fast. Do you need to fast for 2 or 3 days or 23 hours? Fortunately for people like me who love to eat, sauna and exercise and sleep, and how they can increase levels of growth hormone within the healthy range. Intermittent fasting leads to these big increases in growth hormone. The reason I didn't mention it, before we dive into the biology of increasing energy and your immune system, I want to cover 3 topics. The first one relates to intermittent fasting. The second one relates to why your stomach grumbles. I forgot to mention the biology of that last time. And the third is a powerful way to increase growth hormone, which is powerful for increasing metabolism, fat burning, and tissue repair, etc., that doesn't involve a sauna or wrapping yourself in plastic bags and going for a jog. So first, intermittent fasting. Last episode, I talked a lot about growth hormone and thyroid hormone, and I mentioned things like sauna and exercise and sleep and how they can increase levels of growth hormone within the healthy ranges, and why increasing growth hormone can be very beneficial because it can burn off body fat, it can improve muscle and general tissue health, cartilage, etc., and we tend to lose, or our levels of growth hormone are reduced as we age. Many people ask me, well, what about fasting? Everyone's been promised on the internet that intermittent fasting leads to these big increases in growth hormone. The reason I didn't mention it is that I couldn't find a study that actually pointed to the underlying mechanism. I saw lots of claims, lots of podcasts, lots of degrees behind people's names, sometimes biologists, sometimes entirely different fields talking about this, but very few studies. And then I found what I would consider the study. We will link to this study. Turns out that fasting does increase growth hormone levels, and the way that it does it is fascinating. I mentioned in a previous podcast about hunger and timing of meals and timing of hunger, that when you're hungry, you release a hormone in your body called ghrelin, sometimes actually called ghrelin. Thanks for all of you ghrelinistas or grelinistas that corrected my pronunciation. It's both ghrelin or ghrelin. Either one works. Ghrelin makes you hungry. When blood glucose, your blood sugar, is low, ghrelin is secreted and makes you hungry. And it turns out that ghrelin, this hunger hormone, actually binds to the receptor in the brain that normally binds what's called growth hormone releasing hormone. So believe it or not, the hunger hormone can act like growth hormone releasing hormone and thereby stimulate growth hormone. Now, the levels of growth hormone that fasting promotes through this ghrelin system are pretty substantial. It's about a doubling of growth hormone levels in the waking state. So we know that you can release growth hormone in sleep. Intermittent fasting, it turns out, can increase growth hormone, binding ghrelin to the growth hormone releasing hormone receptor, and it does it also during the daytime. So yes, indeed, fasting can increase growth hormone, not to the supra levels that taking growth hormone would increase it or that a sauna could increase it, but it does seem to increase growth hormone. Different patterns of fasting and eating that can control epinephrine. And so we will return to specifics about how long a fast. Do you need to fast for 2 or 3 days or 23 hours? Fortunately for people like me who love to eat, that's not the case. We also said we were going to talk about tummy grumble. When your stomach growls, it is not because of fluid sifting around in there. A lot of people think, oh, it's fluid sifting around. Turns out that your stomach has smooth muscle that lines its sides. And when you eat something or you don't, every once in a while, your stomach cinches off at the two ends like a bag with a hose on either end, because that's essentially what your digestive system is. And if there's nothing in there, what happens is the muscles that line the sides of your stomach, they kind of extend around the stomach in these cables, those are always there. And if you have food in your stomach, what they do is they churn your stomach. They literally turn the muscles of your stomach like a tumbler to help break up the food that presumably you didn't chew well enough because you were eating too fast. When you don't have any food in your stomach, that churning continues, and that contraction of the muscle and the turning, literally turning over of your muscles, they don't flip over completely, but the turning over of the muscles, that's what causes the stomach growling. If you don't want to be the person in the meeting or sitting there in a quiet theater whose stomach is growling, chew your food better. That's the simple solution.